We're glad to have you join us on Power Lunch West Africa. So tell us, what informs projections that Nigeria's interbank's rate will remain depressed?
Okay, good morning. Thank you for having me. So for this week at the money market, we've seen significant inflows into the market. We had a retail refund of about 250 billion. We had a FAC inflows on Thursday totaling 359 billion. We also had a net OMO credit of about 129 billion and bond coupon payment of 34 billion, all coming into the system this week. So that has actually affected the rates we see in the market. So we saw OBDB and overnight trade as low as 1.8 and 2% levels respectively. But as of this morning, we've heard that there's been a CRR debit in the system of about 1 trillion. So as of this morning, the market opened with a positive with about 277 billion. So with the announcement of the retail SMIS auction today, we expect to see rates trend upwards a bit, maybe towards 5-6% levels.
So Akpeve, what do all of these interplay mean for current liquidity levels within the market?
Okay, like I said, so this morning we still have 277 billion. The market opened with 277 billion. We still see inflows coming into the system because there's been some disbursements by the federal government on the COVID relief funds. So, and for the FX market, there's been limited transactions going on in the I&E window. So we don't see much activities happening in the money market. So the rates are going to remain at these depressed levels because the turnover we saw at the I&E window this week was just about a total of 130 million. So there's actually been a decline from the previous week. So we expect that rates are going to just remain at these current levels.
So Akpeve, I see that we are seeing some buying interest in the bond markets at the moment, and you anticipate a bullish session in the T-bill space. So what do all of this mean for your immediate term outlook for the market?
Okay, so there was a normal auction sometime on Thursday, just concluded on Thursday. We saw a total subscription of about 323 billion at the almost pace due to the level of system liquidity. But we only saw a sale from the central bank of about 112 billion. And we saw a decline in the stock rate on the longest tenor to 12.71% levels from the previous 12.75%. So we see that the CBN is still willing to take so much on the long end of the Treasury bill curve. But on the bond space, even when we saw there was an offer of 60 billion, but we saw a subscription of 274 billion, and we can attribute that to the level of the system liquidity. We saw the DMO conduct sell 155 billion at the auction. It shows that the federal government is actually willing to increase their borrowings locally. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, a lot of activities have actually slowed down in Nigeria and in various economies of the world. So it's actually has become a challenge for the government to borrow internationally. So as such, we see them increasing their local borrowing to be able to meet the demands out there.